Welcome to Hanging Out with Robert, that's me. This video is composed of things that I tinkered with throughout the day. For step-by-step detailed instructions of those tasks, you can click on the links in the comment section below. This video should contain tips and tricks of things that I've learned throughout the year. Now, I only plan on leaving this video posted for about 30 days. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you very much for watching. Kicking off today, got to run a couple errands, trying to go down to the shop. And I have no reverse. I'm up to 1500 RPMs. Getting a little smoke out the exhaust, but I'm not moving. Oh, it's bucking. Got a little bit of action in reverse now. First time it didn't go in reverse. I put it in drive, went forward a little bit. Now it goes in reverse, so transmission is getting a little worse. Come down the shop, let them know I'm picking up my car, and they do not want me to pick up my car and take it somewhere else and do this engine. They said they're going to clear this bay out immediately, so looks like I might be able to get this car fixed down here at the shop after all. Alright, I'm here to take the engine hoist out of the car. I don't know if laying it down like that messes it up or not. You know, it's got that reservoir. Hopefully none of the stuff leaked out. At any rate, I'm going to pull it in my storage. Doesn't appear that I'm going to have a need for it. If you have one of these 2-ton lifts, it'll probably be easier to move it around if you go ahead and remove the 2 extension legs. You'll get it in and out of the car easier, and you'll have less weight putting it in and out of the car, stuff like that. So I'm going to go ahead and get this out of the car and head over to the junkyard, pull some more parts off of that manual swap donor vehicle. This one is a 96. Came out of the gray one that had the manual. 396 manufacture date. Speedometer is broke at 160. Who knows how many miles it had on it. Wow, look at this Honda Accord. Looked like somebody was driving it with the tire off of the thing. Too sorry to get out and change the tire, or else the cops was after them and they couldn't stop, one or the other. The car that I'm getting the transmission out of is a 97. Next, I'm going to be removing the pedals. And to do that, you need to take this lower dash pad out, this trim piece, remove this bolster. It has 13mm nuts holding it in, and then access the bolts that secure the pedal assembly. Let me get this out of the way and then show you the pedal mount. Pull this 13 out here, 13 out here, 13 on the other side, and then you work this down and out. Probably take 2 hands. Let me see if there's a, I don't think it has another one, just those 3. Put that out of the way. Pulled it from this driver's side here. One of them, I think the passenger side one, may have a bolt or 2 in the middle. Next, I'm taking these pedal parts off. As you can see, there's a T in the line with the brake vacuum, and I do want my cruise to kick off when I push in my clutch. So I'm going to take that T there, take both of these vacuums here with me. I'm going to pull the bolts from up there that go through the pedals, and I'll tell you how many there are of those to get these pedals out. This is how it came out. The brake pedal switch, the clutch pedal switch is still there. So I assume this vacuum line here came through the firewall. Yes, there it is there. So that's the cruise line. I'm going to take this with me, and let me go ahead and unbolt the pedals from the firewall up there first, and then work on a couple of the bolts back here. I got the 4 mounting bolts out. Now I'm going to take the brake booster clip off here, slide that off, and disconnect that right there on the brake pedal. I already took the slave cylinder thing off the clutch. Alright, so the two in the firewall, the two in the upper bracket that went through there, they were 13 on one side, 15 on the nuts. Once I disconnected the brake slave, the pedal assembly came right out. So I'm going to put these switches and vacuums and stuff back on them so I can know how they go and take this stuff with me with the clips. So there you have it. The pedal assembly is out and I get all the switches and valves on it. Next I want to get the slave cylinder out, but to get that out I got to take this torque out, T40, and this 13 here. But I got to take the brake booster loose from the firewall because it is blocking this from coming out. So I'm going to take those 13s out and see if that will allow that to move. If not, I'll dig up here and see if there's any more holding it in. The brake booster had 3 bolts in it instead of 4. 2 lower ones and 1 upper one. I got them loose. And I got the slave cylinder valve loose here. I'm going to go outside, see if I can work it out. The nuts on that brake booster are 13s as well. So let me see if I could work this out of here with that loose instead of totally removed. I was able to get that out, even though that brake booster was not totally removed. So there it is, the slave cylinder. This actually may be called a slave cylinder actuator, pedal linkage, whatever. So I'll figure it out and post it. I'm going to put the nut and the screw in there. I already got the clip on the pedals. Take this with me. I'm going to tell you what you need to remove and pull from a donor vehicle that you're taking a manual transmission from in dealing with these P80 cars, the 850s, X70 cars. So here we go. The thing you want is the transmission. You should be able to shift the transmission into every gear without pushing on the clutch pedal. So if a car is sitting static, it should move through all gears. If it doesn't move through all gears, there's a chance that it's bad. I would probably leave it. Second thing you need from the donor vehicle is the brake clutch pedal assembly, the switches and vacuum connections to it. There's 4 bolts that mount it in. You do want that stuff because your car won't have a clutch, of course, or a clutch pedal. Next thing you want is the slave cylinder actuator and the slave cylinder that came off of the transmission. That little hose that goes to the brake reservoir. And you want the line that comes out of here and goes into the transmission or the slave cylinder. On most of these cars, especially the ones prior to 98, they all have an external slave cylinder on the exterior of the transmission, and you want to get the line that plugs into here and goes to that. If the car has new or mounts in very good condition, you want to get that transmission torque mount there. You want to take this mount and bracket off of here. You want to consider getting this or get one new. The automatic vehicles has this extension on here for that clutch slave, but the tip of it is capped off. You may be able to cut that off, clamp that hose on there, or you'll need to get one of these, preferably new. You will probably need a throttle cable. Supposedly the manual cables are different than the auto cables. Not sure how and why. I just heard they are. They're about $50 new. Then you want the shift cables that are mounted on top of the transmission. You want to leave the bracket on the transmission and undo the cables from it. You'll need to pull them through the firewall. And you want the shifter from inside the car, and the cables or linkages are on the bottom of that. You'll have to disconnect those so you can get the cables from out of the dash. If the CV axles are in good shape, not like these torn up, worn out, but if they're in good shape, you need to get those, or you'll have to get new ones. The manual transmission has different CV axles. That should be all you need. Now, there'll be some things that you'll have to buy new. I'm getting ready to post a list of those new things, and then you'll be prepared to do your manual conversion. I do want to say one thing. 94, 95 turbo Volvo sold in the US has a different ABS system than the 96 and 97 and newer vehicles. Therefore, they have different speed sensors in the transmission. If you can, and you have a 94 or 95 Volvo, try to get a 94 or 95 transmission. One of them's an L, the other one's an H. I'm not sure if one's better than the other. The thing is, it is easier to mount those in the car and have a working speedometer and a working cruise control. If you cross those year dates, which is 95, 96, you'll have to figure out how to wire that stuff in so that your speedometer works, so that your cruise works. So the goal is to get one that matches your vehicle. If not, it's not the end of the world to figure out how to get that stuff wired in. I'm going to be installing a 97 transmission in my 95, so I will be showing you how to upgrade, per se, the 94, 95 vehicles to accept a 96, 97 or newer transmission. I would also recommend that you get a turbo T5 ECM computer, preferably that matches your car, 94, 95 or 96, 97, something that matches your car's emissions so that you don't have emission problem. Because that computer will have to be reprogrammed or, per se, flashed so that it's not looking for an automatic transmission. I would prefer to have a spare, use a spare. They're only about 35 bucks out of the salvage yard. That way you're not taking a you're only one flashing it. I think it'd be nice to have one for your automatic and one for your manual. Another reason you want to get the Bosch computer out of the car, the ECM, because if you don't have it reflashed, it'll also throw a check engine light, which, if you have emissions, will be a problem for you dealing with emissions. So do your best to get a spare computer and have it flashed for manual use. Normally you'll leave the clutch in the pressure plate. If the clutch is worn down like this, where the rivets are about to make contact with the surface, you definitely do not want to waste your time buying that clutch. This thing is pretty much wore out. When those rivets start hitting, I don't know if it makes noise, but it'll definitely start eating into your flywheel, and you don't want a clutch that's worn out. Same for the pressure plate. These don't normally go bad. However, you can see this one has little nicks in it around the teeth for some reason, and you'll normally buy that with the clutch as a kit. So don't take those parts unless they look brand new. 99 S70 tensioner exploded. Robert! Threw the timing off. Was still driving. Didn't throw it off enough to bust all the valves, but we got a lot of low compression numbers and misfires. And man, look at that belt. Yummy. It's good for at least 3 more starts. I might sell that on eBay as a test belt. Finally got the Queen Bee in the garage. We're going to go ahead and drop the engine with the subframe. Set some parts in here. It's got some nice construction paper to keep stuff clean. And get this engine swapped. So I'm going to start off by taking the air box, the air tube out, a couple other things, set them back here. Disconnect the battery. The vehicle has a Volvo battery. Still able to power windows and stuff after 4 or 5 months. So I'm putting it on the charger and let it go on standard, regular, automatic charge. It'll shut off when it's done charging. We got this car started. It actually had a blown fuse. I was intimidated by all of those makeshift fuses in the fuse box that I didn't check all of them. But the security system alarm fuse was blown, and now it cranks and fires up just fine. Here's Tony. He's got this awesome job. He gets to drive all of these different kind of vehicles. So they double, triple, 4-time park them at night so that hopefully people leave them alone. Recently got some LEDs in from Amazon. We're going to test them. These are the tail lights for the P80 cars, S&V 70s, those vehicles, 850s. And these are the H7 replacements for the S&V 70s. These are LED bulbs. So those cars have a hard time with seeing the road. So we're going to do a before and after test with a V70 and see how well these perform and how they look on the road. So we're getting ready to go run the before test, and then we'll install them, show you how to install them, run the after test. Alright, these S&V 70s have a history of bad lights. What normally happens is the lens gets cracked or the reflector behind there starts getting dull. I rate them on a scale of 1 to 5. I think these are probably 2 or 3 of 5. But sometimes they're so bad, the lights doesn't even shine out and never hits the road. They're just dim lights. I've had the problem with my mom's car, my daughter's car, and the shinier those reflectors are, the better the lights throw out. So there are those lights throwing out, and we're going to go see how they look on the dark street. We're turning on Sierra, and you can see the beam and how they look down the road. We're going to go in this dark alley and see how they look in this dark alley. The things up the road. This is up another back street. We're going to go up here and turn right, I think on Washington. Alright, I'm standing here and Tony's going to come up the alley so we can see what his lights look like when they come up the alley toward me. Okay, we're going to come up this road. As you can see, we can only see about 30 feet in front of us. Don't hardly see anything off to the sides. We're going to go up here and hang a right up at the next possible right, but this road is darkish, and we'll see how it looks when we get the LED bulbs installed. I think it's right here. Turn right. Alright, let's get them LED bulbs installed and see how this turns out. If you feel that this information was useful, please like it and share it with your social media friends. You can subscribe to my channel so that you will get notifications of future videos that I post. You can follow me on Twitter, and if you need to contact me directly, please visit my website. And if you have any questions, leave them below, and someone or myself will reply to them. Again, thank you very much for watching.